Okay, today I'd like to go over chapter 3, joins. There are a few types of joins: cross joins, inner joins, and outer joins. Outer joins are left outer join, right outer joins, and I'll go more detail on that one. Cross join, it implies a number of possible combinations. Inner join means common values in both tables. And the left outer join, for example, is common values in both tables plus extra more values in the left table. Um, Let me demonstrate the cross join here. So I'm going to join how many records does it return? Well, let's run this one here. And it shows you 819 rows returned here. And I'm using the cross join. So this is the first table, and this is second table. And this is the alias name. I made it as C, and C applies to the table, refers to the table, this one here, customer table, and E is an alias name, which refers to HR.employees table. So I use the cross join. That means that all the values, possible combinations in both tables, so that returns the 819 rows, as you can see here. Let's see how it works. Let me run this one here, this query here. So this first table, this one returns the uh, 91 rows. You can see up down here, 91 rows. And scroll down here. This is the second table running here. So that refers to 9 rows. So when you use cross join, this is another way to write cross join. This is the same as above right here. So if you run this both here, run it, and this will return 819 rows. And the bottom one here, which is this one here, returns the 819 rows. So how does it work? This is the same as bottom one here. Sometimes you use the cross join, or sometimes you do not put any join that applies the same as the cross join. So cross join is it combines all these tables, two tables, and doesn't match at all. It just displays what's values. For example, 91 rows returned from this customer table, and 9 rows returned from the employees table. So 9 times 91, 91 times 9 is equal to 819 rows. So this is the possible combination here. So it doesn't matter what it doesn't actually match with the it doesn't join at all. It just combines this whole number and displays it. So the cross join means whatever number of records here, first table, and whatever number of records on here. So you multiply by the number of records. So that is the cross join. I will demonstrate how useful the cross join is a little bit down here. So inner join means the common values in both tables. So I do use join down here, and the first table is employees. Second table is the orders table. I use a join on employee ID. So when you run this one here, that returns the 830 records. Let's see how it works. So if you select from this table, employees table, you have 90 rows. If you select from the sales order table, you have 830 rows. Down here, 9 rows. And the second one is the 830 rows. So what does it tell you on here? If you join with the employee ID, you get 830 records. And you have joined with these. First table is the 9 records. Sales order is the 830. What does it mean, this one here? That means all the employee IDs will exist on here. So there are 9 employee IDs in the employees table, and all the orders are tied to the employees table. That's why you have 830 records, same as joining here. So the values, the employee ID, they exist in both employees table and the orders table. That's what it means, the join. So the value employees ID must exist in both tables. Let's use a non-equal joins. Self-join is also called self-join. So I'm using a table called employees table. And the second one is employees table. How does it work? How can you have the same join with the same table? It's called self-join. So you can have alias name with employee 1 refers to this one here. And you can join with the same table, HR employees table, and put the alias name E2. And you can join with this one here, E1 employee ID is less than E2 employee. So what does it mean? You join with the same table. Let's run this one here and show you how it works. So what does it mean? How to remove repetitive joins? Well, if you do not have this with this, let's say if you comment this one here line, you have 336 records. If we do not have this, let's run this one here. Execute. Oops. Order by. That's order by the employee ID. We cannot do that, so I run this. E2. Oh, this is the alias name. It joins with that one. 2 is refers to this. Oh, put this back. The order ID, I have first employee ID, which I order by the employee ID in the first table. So look at this one here, how many records I have. 8 records and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 9, but you see it doesn't have 1 and 1 again. It doesn't show up that way, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it has 1, employee 1. Let's see employee 2. Employee 2, do you see employee 2 and here is 2? No, you do not see that one. Do you see 2 and 1 here? No, you do not. So it's unique value combination. This combination is unique. So on here, 2 is tied to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, if you go down to 3, you do not see 3 to 3 again. You see 3 to 4. So the combination is unique combination. It's like gambling. You have unique combination here. So this is useful here. So there are sometimes you do make a search engine using this logic. Now look at the can we join more than 2 tables? Well, multi-join means that you have first table, second table, and you have third table. You can have number more than 3 tables. You can join with 20, 40 tables, um, but you want to make sure there's certain things need to be done. The value has to exist in both tables, or you have to understand the schema first, the diagram, entity relationship diagram first before you can join them. Let's look at this one here. Sales dot customers table. I join with the join. So that means that the customer ID must exist in both tables, customer table and orders table. Let's say there's another join here. So this means the orders table, order detail table, join on order ID. That means order ID must exist here and here. So you can join with multiple. So if you run this one here, you get the value 2155. So you can have more than 3 tables. You can join more than 3 tables. Let's look at the more detail how inner join, left join, and right outer join works. Let me demonstrate with a few records here in these two tables. So I have, how many records do I have? I have three records in called customer table. Dealer table called demo orders. I have three records down here. Three records here, three records here. But look at this one, customer ID, 1, 2, 3, 4. And demo orders table, I see customer ID 2, 3, 4. So 1 exists in this table, customers table here, demo. 1 exists. 2, 3, they exist in both tables. Here, orders table, I see customer ID 2, 3. But 4, does it exist in the first table? No, it does not exist. So this one has the one customer ID 1 exist more than this table. And table 2, which is the orders table, you see customer ID 4 exists but does not exist in the first table called customers table. So let's see how it works. Demonstrate inner join, left join, and route outer join. Let's say inner join here. I'm joining with these two tables, customers and this. So you see on here, how many records does it return? How many records does it return? Put this on here, question. So the question is, if you run this, how many records does return? I used to join, and with these two tables, a customer ID. As I mentioned, there's the first table, customer table. This table has three records. Demo orders table has the three records, 2, 3, 4. First table, 1, 2, 3. So if you join with the customer ID, how many records does it return using the join? Correct answer is 2, because join means the value, the customer ID must exist in both tables. That's what the join means. How about if you run the left outer join? What value do you get? How many records does it return? Correct answer is you see 1, 2, 3. But look at this order ID here. It's null because the customer ID, the first table, which is customers table, there is called the customer 1, but there's no orders associated with the in the customers table. That's why it shows a null value there. Okay, so it returns three records, but look, the value of the order ID is null because there's no orders made for this customer 1. Let's look at this one here. How many records does it return if you use right outer join? So this is the same as above, except that the only change is the right outer join on here. So how many records does it return? What kind of value does it return? Well, look at this one here. You see 2, 3, but the order ID 10,383, but there's customer ID is null. Why? Because there's a called the customer ID 5 exists. Let's say on copy and make this one to be O. Copy. Put this up here too. So you can see a little bit more detail how it works. See on here customer ID 234, which is the I want to put a little bit more descriptive name here. So I place O underscore customer ID, and I put this one to so you know these are coming from different tables. So on here, so when you run this one here, you see the C customer ID is 23, but it has null value. Whereas the order table, you see the customer ID 4 exists, but that does not exist in the customer table. That's why it shows order table is 4, but it shows a null value because the 4 does not exist in customer table. Put this one here, copy this. Same thing. If you run this one here, compare these two side by side. See the value here. So you see customer table 1, 2, 3. If you use the join with the left outer join, you see the 1, 2, 3 shows up here. But the 1 does not exist in the orders table. That's why it shows a null value. And this is the inner join value. Right outer join, which is the customer order table, has a 4, which does not exist in customer table. That's why it shows a null value. Okay, this is what the right outer join means. Let's see how it works with the aggregate and the reserved filters. Left outer join, you have same as above. When you run this one here, you get all these 832 records returned. But you can also apply where condition with it. So where the O dot, which is the O is refers to the orders table. This is the alias name. AS means the alias name. Instead of typing all this long string, you just use the O. So you can do O, which is the orders table. Order date is bigger or equal to 2007, January 1st. Then when you apply this one, without the filter, you get 832 records. If you apply filter with the where condition, you see 678 records. So it is possible you join with the two tables and you use a filter with the where condition to reduce the number of records. Multi-join queries. Now, so far we join with the two tables. Now, is it possible to join with the more than two tables? Yes, you can. You have customer table, orders table, you have detail table. So you join with the left, and after you get the left, meaning all the records existing in the customer table, and you join with the orders table, then you can do the inner join with that one. So this will be done first. This join will be done, left join will be done first. Then it will execute the join condition, meaning this outcome, the data set, and whether the order ID exists in the both data sets. Here, this is the first data set, and this order details is the second data set. Whether they exist in both, then it will display. So if you run this one here, you get 2,155 records returned. Now look at on the bottom one here, which is this, instead of using the join, this one is using the left outer join. So meaning, does it return the same data set? It should not return same data set here because it returns a 2,157 records instead of 2,155 because this is the inner join. This is the left outer join. So this is another, you can write it this, there are a number of ways to write same data set. This is one option. You can write this left join and get 2,157 records. Now, is it possible to write same result set? Yes, you can. On here, I have right outer join instead of left outer join. But you have to look at the orders, joining orders. In this table, it comes with the customers table first, and then look at the orders table, then detail table. Whereas this one here, it starts with the orders, then it starts with the detail, then it starts with the customers. So this data set, this is same as the bottom one here, because you are using right outer join instead of left outer join. So this is the supposed to return same data set. So when you run this one here, this first one returns the 2,157. Scroll down here, click here, then 2,157 records. It's supposed to return exactly same number of records. Now, look at this one here. Now this one is it's the same as above, option 1. You can write this way, you can write this way for this joining, option 1. So they are same. This is same as above, this is same as above. Let's look at how it works. You have customer table and you're doing left join, outer join, but this has subquery. This will be executed first. This will be done first, then it will join with this data set and this data set. That's why it returns 2,157 records. So this is same as the option 1, exactly same one here. Let's look at how how the count aggregate with the outer join work. You have customer ID, join with the customer table and orders table, left join, and you can do the group by. So you join with the data first table, second table, join on customer ID, then you say group by. So here, this customer ID, it has 6 records associated with the number of orders. So customer 1 orders 6 times, customer 2 orders 4 times, customer 3 orders 7 times. So you can find how many orders each customer made a request. That's how you can do that using the aggregate count asterisk number of orders. Let's look at on here. Orders ID, number of orders. Then you say, this is almost same as above here. Down, up here. You see 91 rows, and bottom one is 91 rows. So what is the difference? Well, left, only difference is using the asterisk versus the orders ID. So because this is called the primary key and the foreign key relationship. So this supposed to be unique. That's why instead of having count asterisk, you can also have order ID, which is the it ties to the first customer table. Okay. So you can also do asterisk, or you can use the a column with a foreign key. So that will tell you how many orders each customer made.